Good evening, friends and film fans, and welcome to another review. Welcome back to Katie in a car. I am in my car. I'm on my driveway. But I did see this film this evening. I just didn't hang around in the cinema car park for various reasons. But here I am to talk about the new film from writer-director Helena Rain, and the film is called Babygirl. The film stars Nicole Kidman and Harris Dickinson in the central roles, and it also stars Antonio Banderas. It tells the story of Romy, who is Nicole Kidman's character. She is a CEO of a robotics company, distribution, Amazon-y, warehousey type thing. You can tell I paid loads of attention. I mean, to be fair, the film is not about what she does for a living. The point is, she's a CEO. She's at the top of her game. She's obviously worked very hard to get to the position that she's in. And she has a pretty good life. She works hard, but she has got a beautiful home. She's got a very handsome, attentive husband. Antonio Banderas plays her husband, Jacob. And she has two daughters, one late teens, one early teens, I would say. We're never actually told how old the girls are. So her life on the outside of things looks pretty sweet. The film actually opens with Romy and Jacob, Nicole Kidman and Antonio Banderas, having some jolly, enthusiastic, sweaty sex. I mean, pretty impressive looking sex for a couple we find out have been together / married for 19 years. He obviously adores her and they're having a jolly lovely time, and they finish proceedings and kisses and I love yous are exchanged, and then she scuttles off to another part of the house. It's a pretty big house, like I say. She's doing well for herself, and once alone with her laptop, she then settles down to watch some porn. She chooses porn featuring a submissive woman. And before you know it, she is screaming an orgasm into the carpet. Quite the guttural, from the tips of your toes orgasm. So although she has a lovely husband and a lovely home and a great job, in that sense, she is not satisfied. Enter Harris Dickinson's Samuel. He is an intern at her firm, but the first time she meets him is actually out on the street in New York. There is a dog loose. People are trying to grab it and calm it, but the dog's obviously frightened and is sort of snapping at people. And this young man appears out of nowhere and sort of manages to calm the dog and hold on to it until the owner catches up. And before that moment, it looked like the dog was next going to charge at Romy. So that's the first time they encounter each other. The next thing she knows, she's been introduced to a group of new interns, and Samuel is one of them. And it's not very long before they have caught each other's eye. This is an 18 certificate film, and it's quite a saucy affair in more ways than one. Interestingly, although it features a lot of sex and is very much, like I say, an 18 certificate film, it's about more than that, and it's about what the sex represents, and it's about what these characters need and where those needs and desires come from, and should we indulge them or should we not. And it's a really interesting and enjoyable film, and it's dead easy to go, way, you're just a big pervert because you wanted to watch the sexy film. But I mean, I will say it was a very small screen at the Odeon and I was quite busy. I was like, yeah, you've all come out because you heard this was a saucy one. A woman behind me actually left about half an hour in. She was like, well, I just don't know what the point of it is. And that was actually before it got, quite steamy. What's interesting is that Romy actually, for all she's a powerful woman and in control, and it could be seen as her entering into any sort of relationship with Samuel as an abuse of her power, because essentially she is his boss, although quite far up the chain, he actually holds all the power because he can tell. He's quite an intuitive soul. I'd say he's a little bit troubled as well, but he can obviously read something in her, and he knows that what she wants is to be dominated. She wants to be in a submissive role. And once he manages to tap into that, there's kind of no stopping them. So he kind of holds all the cards and she needs him. So it's quite interesting. It's not her cornering this young intern and, you know, threatening his job or anything like that. He, like I say, he has the power. What I liked about it is during one of their first encounters, they meet at a hotel. It's very much below her standards. Like I say, she's a very wealthy woman. And it's all quite awkward because they don't really know what they're doing, and you don't get the feeling, although he's clearly, you know, he's I think, well, Harris Dickinson himself is 28, so if the character's supposed to be of a similar age, he's not shy, and he's clearly been around the block a bit, but maybe he's never been in this sort of relationship. Maybe it's something he's dreamt of as well. And actually there's moments where he starts to laugh because it's a bit like awkward and silly. You don't immediately just slip into those roles. And she obviously tries to push back against it. She doesn't want to do it. Her husband, her children, she could lose so much. But there's this darkness in her, and she hints at a bit of a troubled childhood. So once she kind of gives into it, it's really intoxicating. And yeah, it's a really interesting film. The director, like I say, is a woman called Helena Rain. I want to say she's Dutch, but if I'm wrong about that, I apologise. She also directed a film I saw a couple of years ago called Bodies, Bodies, Bodies that I really enjoyed. And this time she has written the screenplay and directed it herself. So fair play to that woman. Obviously, the film talks about women in power, women in roles of power. And, you know, it's interesting that it's not the man. I mean, her husband, she's got this lovely husband, like I say, and he's not interested in those aspects. He doesn't want to debase her because he loves her and he can't understand why she would want that. So then that just makes her feel wrong for wanting these things. And it's questioning, you know, is it wrong? How far do you push things? You know, can you show those darkest parts of yourself to somebody, and then what if they don't love you afterwards? But of course, from Samuel, it's not love that she's looking for. It's the sexual gratification, the tapping into this, you know, this, like I say, this side of herself that she's never been able to indulge. I do like Nicole Kidman. I have gone hot and cold on her over the years. When she was first about, sort of Days of Thunder era Nicole Kidman, I had no interest in her. And then she made 2 films in 2001, which obviously is a very long time ago now. But in the same year, she was in The Others and she was in Moulin Rouge, and that changed my opinion of her completely. She then went down the road of playing ugly for an Oscar. Sorry, but I kind of think that's what she did. And what other female actors have had to do as well. So case in point, Nicole Kidman with a prosthetic nose in The Hours, playing I want to say Virginia Woolf. Is that who she's playing? If I'm wrong, I've just embarrassed myself. But here we are. Like I say, I don't research these things. And then Charlize Theron played Ugly. She played Aileen Wuornos and won the Oscar for Monster. Halle Berry played Not Very Attractive and got her boobs out and won an Oscar for Monsters Ball. So, yeah, with Nicole, it was then that. She's got the Oscar, brilliant. And she's had some hits and she's had some misses and she's played still does some fluffier roles, but I kind of respect her for being 57 years old, which is how old she is. And yes, she's a very beautiful woman, and yes, she's aging very well, and maybe she has had some help, but you can still see her age. You know, it's not completely hidden. And of course, it's intoxicating to be desired by a man as beautiful as Harris Dickinson. He's brilliant and he will do great things, and I'm really interested to see where he goes. So overall, yes, it was, you know, quite steamy in places, but it was about so much more than that. And it was an interesting little watch, and I'm glad I got to see it. So the countdown is on until my beloved local Odeon closes, so I'm glad I got there this evening, and I'm going to try and go a couple of times this week as well. As ever, thank you for watching. If you like what I do, then subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends. I would love to pick up some more subscribers because I really, really love what I do. So if you have listened to me waffle, if this is the first time or you've been around for a while, I am very grateful. Okay, like, subscribe, share, all that jazz. And thanks for watching. Katie out.